Hey guys, Marshmallow Chomp here, back with another video, and today we're doing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. So today, or around this time, a lot of you will know, is the Power of the Elements sneak peek event where you can, just on entry, get this sick field center. But this new set brought out many heroes and Melffys, so of course I'm very excited. But it brought out a load of other new cards that not only I like, but are going to be really strong. So obviously there's cards like Tower Elements and Splites, which everyone's on about, but I really like things like the Sue ship and the Moki Moki and other stuff. Before I get into the deck list of what I ran today, I will mention a few things. For starters, I wasn't able to trade into all the Melffy cards that I wanted before the tournament, so obviously this doesn't feature too many of the new ones. It features one of most of them, but obviously I'd like to have 3 of some and whatnot. Like for example, I managed to get things like a Melffy staring contest, all sorts of different Melffys, but I wasn't able to get them before the tournament started, and so, as you know, you can't put things in once the tournament started. Otherwise people would just be changing decks halfway through. I'd also like to thank my friend the Tax Collector, checking his channel out, because not only did he do my channel out like I mentioned ages back, and actually show up to a tournament for once, but I was able to get myself this in a trade from him, which is a sealed Speed Jewel Book of Moon promo or prize card, and you guys may know that I prefer Speed Jewels typically in terms of actually playing them, so that was really cool to get one of those, although to be honest I'll probably keep that sealed. But anyway, let's get into the deck. So today's deck is Melffy's. It does have a bit of Tri-Brigade in it, but I've gone more Melffy than I have Tri-Brigade. I know a lot of these decks will be just like pure Tri-Brigade with like maybe Melffy Puppy and a couple other cards. This is as much Melffy as possible with as little Tri as possible. So yeah, let's get into the deck list. I'll quickly say that I got 2 wins and 3 losses, or was it a draw? I think it was 3 losses. Although, so my wins were against Drytron, no, not Drytron, Dark Magician and Phantom Knights. I almost drew with Drytron and then lost to Salads and one of the new decks. I can't tell you because I can't remember. But anyway, let's get in. So for our Melffy lineup, we have, of course, the best of them all, Melffy Puppy. We've got to run 3 of this one because this is probably the best card in the deck. What this does is, during end phase with any Melffy, you can special summon them onto your field in attack or defense mode, and then when they are attacked or when your opponent summons a monster, you can return a Melffy to the hand and their effect activates. What Puppy does is it lets you special summon a level 2 or lower beast from deck, except for Puppy. So obviously you can bring out a whole host of things. All the Melffys themselves are level 2, all the Melffy XZs are rank 2, the Melffy Synchro that just came out is level 4, so obviously it can help you go into all your extra deck plays. So this is the best, so we're running 3 of this. We are then running 2 Melffy Catties, which is a really good one as well. What this does is the exact same, special summon it on end phase, and then when they summon or target it with an attack, you can return to hand. But when returned to hand, Melffy Catty allows you to add a level 2 or lower beast from deck to hand. Oh, add a beast, sorry, from deck to hand. It doesn't have to be level 2 or lower. Then we do have one of the new ones. I didn't actually see this too much today, and again, I'm not too familiar with it. I would have probably run 3 if I had 3 when the tournament started. But what this is Melffy Wally. And Melffy Wally is really cool. It's pretty much Melffy Puppy, where it special summons from deck when sent back, but it can special summon 2 Melffys. So Puppy is probably still arguably better, because it can bring out any level 2 or lower beast, and that can go into all sorts of plays that are a little bit more spicy. But Melffy Wally can help set up your board, and obviously you can return this, special summon a Puppy, and then they attack the Puppy can activate. So Wally is really, really good for the deck, and a very welcome addition to the Melffy lineup. Then, as most Melffy decks do, we're running 1 Melffy Fenny, You might see more of this if you're running something like Melffy Try. But what this does is it returns to the hand, and then you can special summon a beast from your hand, except for Melffy Fenny. So that's a great one. Then we're running Melffy Pony, which is when returned to hand, you can target a level 2 or lower beast in your grave and add it to your hand. And then we are running one of the other new main deck monster, Melffy Penny. I did not see this at all today, so that's not great, but it's a level 2 tuner. And if a face-up beast you control is returned to the hand, you can special summon this, then synchro summon using this card in Melffy's in hand. And it doesn't have to be for a Melffy synchro, this can be for any synchro. So obviously all Melffys are level 2s, so you can go into anything that's pretty much an even number as long as you've got the Melffys in hand. If this card's engraved during end phase, you can target a beast Xyz you control, attach this card as a material. So that's just a nice little extra effect if your Xyz monsters are running low, or you want to pump up your Zeus or whatever, you can just crank him on and get some extra material. For the Tri-Brigade lineup, we have 2 Fractals. So Fractal, you discard and send a level 3 or lower beast, beast warrior, or wing beast from deck to grave. And then he can do the whole thing of link summoning by banishing grave. Obviously, you're probably going to go into a full Tri-Brigade combo, but something you could do that's kind of neat is send Melffy Penny if you really need that Xyz material. We would run 2, but we only own the 1 Tri-Brigade Cuirass. So this discards discard one of the beast warrior or wing beast in hand to special summon. It's a level 2 beast with 1200, and you can banish beasts in grave to bring out a link monster of that link rating, or banish monster, sorry. Then we are running Tri-Brigade Kit at 2. When this is sent to grave, you get to send another Tri-Brigade from deck to grave, which you would typically send to, one of the 2 Tri-Brigade Nervals, which when sent to grave lets you search a Tri-Brigade to your hand. The reason we are running 2 of each, except for Keras, is we don't want to see them too often, because again, we want to make this as pure Melffy as possible, and honestly, the Tri-Brigade is just a side engine. But we don't want it to be to the point where you draw into your kit and you don't have a kit to then send with Fractal or something like that. So we don't want to have just one of each, because if you draw into them, they're pretty much unusable, some of them. But we don't want to see them too often either, so we're just sitting at a nice solid 2, and you get as much usage as you need out of them. It never feels like you've got too many or too few. Then into our more normal little beasts, we have 2 Rescue Cats. So Rescue Cat is a great starter for the deck. You can summon it, and then you can send this card to grave, special summon 2 level 3 or lower beasts from deck, but their effects are negated, and they are destroyed during end phase. So something that I like to do, which is a really cool play that I do all the time, is you summon the Rescue Cat, you tribute it, you special summon your 2. The other one can be anything, but I then like to bring out Kit as one of the 2. You overlay them into something like Joyous Melffys, and then if you detach the Kit, Kit's effect is allowed to trigger. So basically from that, you can start the Tri-Brigade combo and get a free Xyz just from a normal summon, which is absolutely mental and is an amazing starter play for the deck. So Rescue Cat is great at 2. If you have 3, consider running it at 3 because it's just that good. The only issue is if it gets negated, then you're kind of stumped. And it's level 4, so it doesn't synergize too well that way. So it's got a few things going against it, but honestly it's such a good starter that it's just worth the hassle. We are then running 2 Kalantosa Mystical Beast of the Forest. This is such a good card and is pretty much one of the reasons that Melffy Puppy is so good. What this does is, if this card's special summoned by the effect of a beast, target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So it can pop any spell, trap, or monster on the field. And obviously, Melffy Puppy on your opponent's turn, so their turn, can return and special summon a beast from deck. So like halfway through their combo, or if they're attacking and they're on their end board, you can just return Puppy and get a free pop, so that is a great card. Obviously, there's all sorts of other ways to bring it out using cards such as Joyce Melffy's or Melffy Fenny. There's just so many ways to bring it out, and it's just free destruction. And obviously with things like Joyce Melffy's too, that's using it when it's already in the grave. It's just such a versatile card, it's really good. We are then running 3 Nimble Beavers. I only had one issue with Nimble Beaver today, which was I had all 3 Nimble Beavers in hand, which made all of their effects dead. But usually that's just a very rare occurrence in general. Nimble Beaver is such a solid starter, similar to Rescue Cat, not quite as good, but also arguably more consistent and better. What Nimble Beaver does is when summoned, you can special summon a level 3 or level Nimble from your deck or grave. So obviously if you've used it prior, you can still use the other Nimble Beavers. And it doesn't exclude itself, so you can just special summon a second copy of Nimble Beaver. You've got 2 level 2s, you can go into Xyz, Lynx, all sorts. So again, a great starter for the deck. Then we are running 3 of the Fabled Cerberus. This is a level 2 beast tuner with the effect of if this card is discarded to the grave, special summon it. So for our spell and trap lineup, we're running things like Twin Twister, so we discard to destroy up to 2 spells and traps. And obviously off of that as well, you'll get a summon of a level 2 tuner. You can special summon it off Rescue Cat to have a tuner and another level 2 to go into a level 4 synchro. In a prior build, I was running Cupid Pitch, which is a great level 4 synchro, as it can instantly become level 6 and do all sorts of shenanigans with baby raccoons if you're running them. But this is just a really good card. It can help us go into Herald of the Arclight, and just the fact that it's a level 2 beast that can be special summoned from discard. You can discard it off of Tribeca Cuirass and go into a rank 2 Xyz. It's just all around very good, and that's why I run 3 of it. I would consider maybe dropping it down to 2 when it comes to adding some of the other Melffy cards, but all in all, I did not have any problems with this at 3 today, so it's just all over great card. And then finally for our monster lineup, 2 Alpha the Master of Beasts. This is really solid in this deck, as it's a beast monster that can be special summoned if your field's combined attack is lower than your opponent's. If you have some Melffys that didn't trigger on your opponent's turn, you're still probably going to have lower attack on your field, as a lot of them have 0 to 300 or 400 attack points. So even if you've got a full board, that's going to be like maybe 2,000 attack tops, and well, obviously it would be lower because you'd have to have space for Alpha. Alpha is such a game changer sometimes. He can single-handedly win you games. What it does is you can target, well, obviously you've got the special summon, and it's just a 3k attack with 25 defense. You could target Beast, Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast you control, return them to the hand, then return face-up monsters your opponent controls to the hand, equal to the number you sent. He can even return himself to return something on your opponent's field, and then special summon itself back, which is really cool. So for our spell and trap lineup, for spells we are running 1 Melffy Hide and Seek. This is a really good card. It protects your Melffy, all your beasts, sorry, each time a beast would be destroyed by card effect, it's not destroyed once per turn. And you can also target 3 beasts in grave, shuffle them into deck, and draw 1. And you can do that once per turn. This card actually won me a match earlier single-handedly, because my opponent didn't read the card effect after I told them what I did like prior, and they activated Dark Hole to just wipe the board because my monster had Fog Blade on and stuff, and they couldn't get over their own Fog Blade. So they Dark Holed and then just ended up basically Raigeki-ing their own field for me. It did help them restart and go into some combos, but I had negates ready. We're then running 1 Melffy Tag. Melffy Tag is just a quick play spell that can target Melffy Engrave, special summon it. Obviously, because it's quick play, you can bring out the Melffy on your opponent's turn. If you want to bring out a puppy that goes into a Calantosa or something, or you can just do it on your turn to go into a rank 2, easy peasy. We're then running 1 Emerging Emergency Rescue. This is a really cool card. If your life points is lower than your opponent's, reveal 3 beasts with 300 attack and 100 defense from deck. Your opponent chooses 1 to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest back into your deck. So obviously this is intended for the rescue cards, and I was running things like Rescue Ferret initially. But we have the 2 rescue cats, and Melffy Puppy actually has the same stat line. So you can just reveal 3 Melffy puppies, or 2 cats and a puppy, something like that. 2 puppies and a cat. And I mean, both of them are just super solid cards that you want in your hand anyway. So great card to just get probably your best main deck monsters into your hand. We're then running 2 Aya's Rock Sunrise. This is another revival spell to target a beast in grave, special summon it, and it also weakens your opponent's monsters by 200 attack for each beast, plant, and winged beast in your grave. The secondary effect obviously is very minute and will very rarely come up, but the fact that it's just more revive, more special summon, just bringing out more level 2s is super fun, and can get you obviously into a lot of extra deck plays. And then obviously you might be thinking, why run 1 tag, 2 Sunrise, why not 3 of one of them? That's because we're running a Monster Reborn as well, just to finish up the revival lineup. This deck has a lot of revival capabilities and can bring back all your graveyard monsters. And then for the rest of the spells, we're running 3 Twin Twisters, as this deck can struggle with traps quite often. Trap heavy decks or things like Mystic Mine. I managed to out with Twin Twisters, as that's quite popular at my locals at the minute. It's just all in all great, and it's always helpful to have some form of spell and trap removal on top of Kalantosa, on top of Tri-Brigade Shorag, as they can target spells and traps as well. So I just hate traps sometimes, so having 3 Twin Twisters is always great. We then run 2 Raigekis. I cannot emphasize how many duels this won me. Although it may not have won me matches, it did definitely win me a lot of duels. By matches I mean like best of 3s, but this won me loads of one-on-ones. So that's great, even some friendly, so I won with because of Raigeki. The only thing that was really annoying was against Drytron. I used Raigeki and they had Masquerena. They chained Masquerena and they'd go into Mech Knight Avramax, who can't be destroyed by card effects thanks to Masquerena. But the thing was, at the same time, I kind of had to. I was forced into doing it regardless because they had Vanity's Ruler, and if they kept that on the field, I couldn't special summon, which for Melffy's is a pain. And then finally, for the main deck, we are running 2 Evenly Matched, which is at the end of the battle phase, your opponent banishes cards until they have the same amount as you. And if you control nothing, you can do this from your hand. So obviously you can just literally go second, because this is a going second deck for sure. You can just go second, say main phase, battle phase, and crank out Evenly Matched on end of battle phase. So that's super fun. It can do a lot of board breaking. My only concern with this, and I did side it out in a few matches, was I was going against decks that very much had towers, like Utopia decks and things. And so obviously I had to, well, they could just keep that one card on field. So that is the main deck. Very solid, very cool. I will shortly move on to the extra deck. So, extra deck, here we go. We are running 2 Joyous Melffys. What this is 2 level 2, 2 plus level 2 beast monsters. You can detach a material from this. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, you can detach a material from this, and all Melffys you control can attack directly this turn. Obviously, you can just detach this, even if they've got no monsters in the way, you can detach it if you want to detach something like a Tri-Brigade kit. Or just get something engraved to revive, that is always possible. And then, during your opponent's turn, you can target a Beast Xyz monster you control, return to extra deck, then special summon level 2 or lower beast from your grave up to the number of materials that monster had. You can only do this effect once per turn, but what's really cool is it can do it on itself, and then again, obviously, you can revive something like a Calantosa because this is a beast to get more pops. You can revive things like Melffy Wally to start digging through your deck more, or you can just go for whatever else happens to be in your grave if you just simply need a wall, or they're gonna like OTK you because they've got like a 10,000 attack monster, which sounds ridiculous, but that's happened multiple times today. You can return this and just like bring out a Nimble Beaver in defense mode. If their monster doesn't have piercing, you have just literally saved yourself with a Nimble Beaver. With them running one Melffy of the Forest, this is a really solid card. I often go for this over Joyous Melffys if I'm going first. It can detach a material to search a Melffy, so I'll go for Melffy of the Forest, Melffy Puppy. And if a beast is returned to your hand, or if another face-up Melffy, it returns to your hand, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, it can't attack, and its effects are negated whilst it's face-up on the field. So that's really cool. You basically just Fiendish Chain, and get the effect of your Melffy that's returning to hand. The thing is as well, the secondary thing that happens off of the Melffy isn't always required. Well, it's never required. So if you have to return Melffy Pony and then add a card in grave to hand, if there's no monster in grave that you can add to your hand, you can still do the effect to return, and then basically just get a free Fiendish Chain off of Melffy Forest that doesn't take up your spell and trap terms. And then we are running one Melffy Mommy. This doesn't come up very often, but it's kind of neat. It can do some fun things. It can like slurp up a load of monsters. And when you've got 5+ attacks declared involving this, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to your opponent's monster's attack. You take no battle damage and can't be destroyed in battle. So it just basically becomes a really strong Amazoness swordswoman if you get 5+ materials on it, which can sort of be done sometimes, but again, it's very rare. You might bring it out on things that can bring empty Xyz monsters onto the field with no materials, as this can attach beasts from hand or field, like as a quick effect once per turn. So it's kind of not a lost cause. You just bring it out as a 1k, which isn't great, but you can quickly start giving it its effects back thanks to its quick effect. Then probably the most used Xyz monster besides Joyous and Melffy of the Forest is number 64 Ronin Raccoon Sundaya. What this does is you can detach a material to special summon a Kagamusha Raccoon token, whose attack becomes equal to the current attack of the highest current attack on the field. And while you control another beast, this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So it's a bit of a wall itself, but you can get some super strong tokens, and obviously as well, it's not like on your opponent's field only. So if you're going for that OTK, something I'd recommend doing is if you can go into your Shorag and then bringing out Raccoon Sundau and then get a token, you've got 7k on board because you've got the token with 3, Shorag with 3, and the Raccoon with 1. That's 7k, you're pretty much there at that OTK. We are then running one Onibimaru Soul Sweeper. To be honest, I would replace probably like these two or something for a second Ferigi and Shorag if you have them, but I just happen to not have them, unfortunately. But Onibimaru Soul Sweeper is kind of like Destiny Hero Doomlord. It requires 2+ level 2s. Detach a material to target a monster your opponent controls, banish it until your opponent's end phase. If this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, target banished monsters up to the number of materials this had, shuffle them into the deck. So basically, if you do your Tri-Brigade plays and you've got loads of banished, or your opponent's just got something like a Macrocosmos or Dark Masquerero Dark Claw up, you could just actually start getting back your banished cards, which is a nice little added bonus, but you're probably going to be using it for the like sort of Destiny Hero Doomlord effect of banishing your opponent's monster, get it out of the way for a bit. We're then running number 45, Crumble Locos, the Prophet of Demolition. This is also like Melffy of the Forest, 2+ level 2s. You can detach a material from this card, target one of the face-up card on the field. While this guy is face-up on the field, that target's effects are negated, And while that target's on the field, cards with the same name as that target and their effects can't be activated as well. I don't use this as much because obviously Melffy of the Forest gives me the search, and although it's not as consistent in pulling off the effect because it can be negated and whatnot sometimes, I have used this against Harpies before, which is very brutal as they're all treated as Harpy Lady, so you just negate like all their effects and that's super fun. And then obviously we are running Zeus. I must admit I could have probably beat the Drytron player if I remembered I had Zeus in the deck, but it was like the first match of the day and I was just not with it. Because I Joyous Melffy to attack directly, because that's a really good combo. Because Joyous Melffys can detach one to have Melffys attack directly, including itself. It attacks directly, so even if all your opponent's monsters are bigger. Then you put on Zeus, and then you can board wipe your opponent on their turn, which is super cool. Then we are running 3 synchros. We've got the 1 Merry Melffys, which I didn't play at all today, sadly. This is actually a really fun card. It can, on special summon target face-up monster on field, return it to hand, so you can bounce your card or your opponent's. And if an opponent's monster targets this card for attack, you can return this to the extra deck and special summon Melffy XCs from your extra deck. So that's where you'd probably bring in the Melffy Mommy and then start sloping up materials with quick effects. So that's really cool. It's probably not going to come up too often, but it's a cool monster, and I just love the Melffy artwork, and to be honest, that's the main reason I play the deck. We then run the Herald of the Arclight. This is your go-to synchro play with Fabled Cerebral and whatever else. So basically any monster sent from hand or main deck to grave is banished, so you probably want to set this up at the end of your turn. Turn 1 board, get like Melffy of the Forest, Herald of the Arclight, and a Melffy Puppy on board. That's a really solid board. If you can set an Imperm as well or something, that's great. Or an even, maybe not evenly, but something like that. So yeah, obviously it's kind of like a Macrocosmos, but then also when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, as a quick effect you contribute this to negate and destroy that card. So it's a negate and a temporary Macrocosmos, so that's super cool. It's not as good as Macrocosmos, but it's still super fun. And then finally we've got Virtual World Beast Juju. You might be thinking, why the hell are you running Virtual World Synchro in this? But basically, level 6, so it's a little bigger than the rest. It's also got decent stats, I suppose, but can't be destroyed by battle card effects while you have 2 or more monsters in your grave with the same original type and attribute. This deck is pretty much all level 2 beasts, so that's pretty easy to pull off. And yeah, you can banish 2 monsters from your grave with the same original type and attribute, but different names. Target card on field, send it to the grave. You probably won't use that much either, but it's just a nice optional card in the extra deck. It's kind of wally, kind of tanky, but can also just start popping things left, right, and center, so that's super fun. Then for our Link lineup, we have 4. We got the 1 Ferigi, which is 2, and it can special summon 1 from hand. Sadly, we don't have the Link 3 Trebrigade, but this is super cool, and when it's sent to grave you can draw 1 and send 1, put 1 back into deck. Then our big boss of the extra deck, Trebrigade Shorag. This can banish when it's summoned, banish a card, and then every turn after, once per turn, when a beast is special summoned, you can banish another card. Also, when this thing is sent to the grave, you can add a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast from deck to hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished Beast, Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast monsters. So you're probably going to have 4 banished to bring out Shorag, so you can bring out anything that's level 4 or lower, which I'm sure you guys can tell is pretty much everything. Then Bujinki Hashima. This is a super good card and actually helped me win my Dark Magician matchup. This basically requires 2 monsters with the same level, so you bring it into this. Then you get 1 card from your grave and 1 card from your hand with the same level, instantly XYZ summon them, and then if something that this points to detaches a material, you get to destroy 1 back row. So again, more back row removal, always fun. And obviously the fun thing about that is it's just like any turn. It's not just the one time. So I did this and went into Joyous Melffys, detached. They didn't actually have any monsters on board present, so there's no point in me detaching except for the pop. And then next turn they set up something, got a dark magical circle, I detached to pop once more. And then finally, relinquished Anima. You can run anything that requires a level 1, so Link a Rebo, anything like that. I just think relinquished Anima is quite fun and a bit different. This is basically if you draw into Tri-Brigade Nerval and can't do anything, you can go into this, which is kind of neat. You can steal an opponent's monster if they were silly enough to play something absolutely massive in front of one of the extra monster zones. So that's super cool. And finally, I'll quickly go through the side deck. I won't explain it really because the video is kind of long, but also because it's just staples, so I'm sure you guys understand. So we've got the Psy-Frame gear engine, so 3 gammas and a driver, if you want more monster effect negates. For the same reason, we also have 3 Imperm. If you are going against something like Altergeist, Eldritch, anything like that, or just someone who happens to be playing a load of traps, 3 Royal Decree. If you're going against someone who is using something like DPE or something like that still, or a branded fusion, I guess, DD Crow is always a great choice. And obviously, for the same reason, to be honest, or this is obviously just better and more versatile, a couple of Ash Blossoms in there. And then finally, because there was 1 slot left and I didn't own a 3rd Ash Blossom, I just whacked in a Change of Heart, because why not? A fun card. So that is the deck list. I hope you enjoyed. Again, this didn't do amazingly well, but it did better than a lot of decks did there that should have probably done better than me. I beat some really cool players and had a lot of fun against everyone there. Again, shout out to Tax Collector and all my mates for some super sweet trades. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, again, this deck isn't supposed to be crazy or game-breaking, but please give it a shot if you are ever interested in having fun with Melffys. I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever that may be, whether it's Garden Warfare, Yu-Gi-Oh, or anything else on my channel. I hope to see you then. See you guys.